So how this will go? We'll introduce the podcast and then introduce each other. So share your socials and all this stuff. You can also type in your socials on your name tag down there. And then we'll just literally dive right into it. I'll give a description of the series, and then we'll just hop right in. It's full spoilers. Sound good to everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have started recording. This is Freaks and Geeks, episode 2. Obi-Wan. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Freaks and Geeks. This is episode 2. If you finally seen episode 1, that means I finally got around to actually uploading it, so that's a good thing. And then we're making this episode. That's why I record these, because things take time to make. But as you can see today, I am joined by 2 special guests, one of which is the actual co-host of this series. So we finally got her on the show. Yay. Lady Tono, go ahead and introduce yourself, sweetheart.
Hi guys, I am Crystal Star, or also known as Lady Toronto. I am a cosplayer and circus performer here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, well, she's a lot more than that. She's just being modest.
To what?
And alongside her, we are joined by Mr. Chuck.
Yep. I'm a member of the 501st Legion and a friend of Lady Tano there, and also live in the Nashville area.
Yeah, he stopped working with me, guys.
We both are, but it's fun. But yeah, so, and of course, I am he who is Rule of Shadows. I am Shadow King. And yes, so we're going to dive right into it. Obi-Wan episode 1 and 2. Holy crap. I mean, I had high expectations for the series. Knew it was going to be good. Love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Always have. And so I knew going in, like, this is going to be great. Like, I don't really see anything that's going to, like, really like just bog it down. And for me, I mean, 2 episodes back to back premiere, it was just all around just great. I loved almost everything about it. Oh, how about you, Lady Tana?
I'm a fan. I'm definitely obsessed. Obviously I'm obsessed with Obi-Wan because he's my second favorite Jedi. I do have some reserves about it, and I just kind of want to see how it goes from here with the reserves I have before I say too much and make somebody mad.
Okay, how about you, Ms. Chuck?
Man, there is so much to unpack from those first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And just the anticipation leading up to it. Of course, everybody loves Obi-Wan. King of the memes on the internet. And the one disappointing thing I have is that he didn't open his line with "Hello there."
Yeah.
Okay. But so far, it looks fantastic, and I'm excited.
Yeah. No, so you mentioned the look. Let's just talk about the actual look of Star Wars right now. Like we all grew up with Obi-Wan in the prequels, and of course we grew up with the original Obi-Wan in the originals. And one thing I love about Star Wars is that every generation gets a new look and feel to Star Wars. There was the original look and feel for what we got at the time, back when the original 3 came out. I grew up with the prequels, so everything was brand new, shiny, sparkly. and then now the kids today have that mixture of like everything looks amazing cinematically, but it's in that realm of still things are still dirty and grungy, but also sparkly and clean. And then you look at the TV series, and we get just so many different mixtures of all that, like Mandalorian, Boba Fett, the look of Star Wars right now, where how it's changed cinematically, it definitely adds to the experience of watching these shows and watching these movies. Would you guys agree?
I agree. It's definitely progressed into different, like, the visuals
I'd
and
say
the
it's changed
storyline is
quite a
definitely
bit.
different, and it's relatable to every person versus like their time frame for it. And I feel like there's pros and cons for all of them for everybody. And I think like people that are new to the series are going to relate to the new three movies versus like people that grew up like me. I was born in '77, so like I grew up with the original trilogy, which I loved, but I also kind of love the prequels, minus a couple things, and I kind of love the other. Like I kind of like all of them, but there's going to be a lot of people I feel like they're going to relate to one of the trilogies more than the other.
Yeah, and definitely like just the first of all, let's read I'm gonna read the description real quick. Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Jedi Master contends with the consequences of his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his one-time friend and apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, who turned to the dark side as evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. So that's the official Google like description, which is just a basic for everything we know about Star Wars. But it honestly doesn't say much about what the show's actually going to be about. Like we know it's going to be another faithful meeting of Obi-Wan and Anakin. But there's like Chuck said, there's so much to unpack. We got the Inquisitors, live action looking Inquisitors. We got live action clone troopers. The first official live action clone troopers on screen. We've got a younger Princess Leia. We haven't necessarily met young Luke yet, but we have a young Luke. Joe Edgerton comes back and plays Owen from Episode 3. Like, there's a lot to look at. We got our first live action look at Alderaan, I believe.
Yep.
If
First
I'm not
time
mistaken,
outside of
Yeah, I mean, our first live
No.
action Luke is definitely after he starts training as a Jedi, right?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I've seen any live action like we're on the planet Alderaan. Like
in episode 3, right at the end when they're flying back with baby
yes,
Leia.
Okay, yeah.
But
So
really, it was very minuscule. And then outside of like the SWOTOR and KOTOR universe,
right,
yeah, we really haven't seen it until now.
and it's beautiful. Like it's that what they all said our future will look like. Big nice utopian buildings and flying cars. I mean, it's flying cars in Star Wars. But like it looks like what everyone's always said our future would look like. If you get that. But I mean, it was really cool to see that. And then Princess Leia, I have his name. Hang on, I'm gonna look her up.
I do have to say it was kind of cool to watch
Do what?
Leia as a child because when you go into the original, the very first movie, you don't really know what she is or what the connection is, and then like that kind of like established why she.
I got only just a little bit of that, Laytana.
Yeah, I'm having some issues with this. Sorry. I said that like I did enjoy the fact that that happened because like when you go into the originals or episode 4, essentially, you don't really know how she knows who.
Obi-Wan,
She don't really know how she knows who Obi-Wan is. But like that explains how she knew Obi-Wan. She met Obi-Wan as a child. Like she's had a relationship with Obi-Wan. So it's like you know that she's asking Obi-Wan Kenobi for help, but you don't really know how she knows him until you see that connection.
Yeah. All right, I'm trying to find the young actress's name. Give me a second, guys. This is why we record things, so I can cut this part out. Yes, her name is Vivian Lyra Blair. As Lyra Organa. She's going to be in all 6 episodes, and it was really, like I said, it's really interesting to see. I read a stupid article the other day. I can't remember what it was, but like the tagline was, "Star Wars breaks its promise and recast original trilogy character." And I'm like, are they talking about Leia? They can't be that stupid to talk about Leia. Like they can't be that dumb to make that tagline. Wow. And then I open it, and then I open it, and they're that dumb. I'm like, seriously, guys, clickbait at its finest. But I mean,
clickbait is clickbait.
Clickbait is clickbait. But yeah, it was I didn't read. I just wanted to see if they were actually going to be talking about that. But yeah, it's really good to see her. You get that early look at what we know Leia's going to become. That rebel, that rambunctious, like, hey, you know, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to do I'm going to do what it takes to do. And you see the seeds of that. And that's what I love about being able to go into new stories and see characters we know and see where they came from. I really love that about this episode.
You know, I think you get a little bit more than just a view of how she's going to become who she's going to become, but you also get a view of something we really haven't seen too much for other than in the sequels is her force sensitive side.
Yes.
She's got an innate ability, it seems, to read people and just break them down.
That was so funny.
You know, her parents say, try not to make anybody cry.
That was hilarious. She was like, "Oh, I got something for you. Let me read you real quick." Oh man,
bam!
That was a good
one. But also, I think the way that she's being written right now is kind of a nod to who Carrie Fisher was as a person. She's very sassy. Just, you know, Absolutely. You're not going to tell her what to do.
Yeah.
And like when I saw that and the way that this actress is portraying that, I was like, bro, that's Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Oh man, rest in peace, Carrie.
And she definitely has Padme vibes in that too, because Padme was also that way. Don't tell me what to do or how to do it. I'm gonna do it my way kind of situation.
I liked the subtle hint. Obi-Wan's like, she's like, what? She's like, oh, nothing. You just remind me about someone I used to know. I was like, Obi-Wan, you're making me cry, bro. You're making me sad. Before we get to the big man himself, let's go over a couple more things. The Inquisitors, and I know Miss Lady Tano has a couple things to say about that, but we got the Grand Inquisitor played by Rupert Friend, Inquisitor Reva played by Moses Ingram, and surprisingly, shocked the heck out of me, the fifth brother who we've seen in Rebels is played by Sung Kang, Han from the Fast and Furious series. I would have not known that had I not looked it up, because the makeup they put on him, I'm looking at a live action version of what I saw in Rebels, and I really liked how they really put that together. And like I said, I never would have known. Like, I know he had an Asian voice, but I never would have known it was him. So kudos to the look of the Inquisitors, and I'm excited to definitely see more. Except for a certain thing that happened at the end of episode 2. Crystal, you want to talk about that real quick?
I don't know how you pulled me out of that, because I've already complained about it to you. But I kind of want to see what he feels about the Inquisitors before I I want to see if I'm alone in this opinion about the Inquisitors before I say anything.
I mean, go ahead. Just hold your mic just a little bit closer to you.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm having to use my cell phone, guys, because I couldn't get logged into my computer. Because I just changed everything in my internet situation. So, I want to know what you guys. I kind of want to know if anybody has the same feelings I do about the Inquisitors before saying anything.
Okay.
Charles, do you have anything to say about the Inquisitors?
Yeah. I mean, so between playing the games and watching the different series,
Mhm.
you know, I've always kind of felt a little strange about the Inquisitors. Especially, I'm a big fan of the SWTOR and KOTOR, so I've been in those video game worlds where there are thousands and thousands of Sith Lords running around.
Mhm.
So we get to see a little bit of that in the live action with them. So
Yeah.
I love the characters themselves. I'm a little bit confused about the ending of episode 2 because I don't know. I think there's got to be some plot armor there because
I hope
otherwise
so.
it introduces
Me too.
it introduces a problem.
I'm gonna speak freely for a second. Make a lot of fans hate me, and I'm really sorry, guys. But I am a huge fan of the Inquisitors. I actually cosplay as a second sister. The third sister makes no sense to me. And I actually watched the series again today to figure out what it was about her that really bothered me, and I figured it out. I'm gonna say this later. The Inquisitors teaching patience and holding back makes no sense to me because that's not how they were. They were ruthless. They were doing whatever it took to get the job done. So the Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother holding back and telling the third sister, who didn't really exist until the series, to show patience really bothered me.
I could see that. I mean, just based on what we know from Rebels and based on what we saw in Jedi Fallen Order, I can definitely see how that would annoy some people. Because when you look at it, we've seen now before this series, we have seen in any instance we've seen. Let's see. I'm gonna go through the list here of all the Inquisitors. So you've got. All right, so we know we saw the second sister in Fallen Order, right?
Yes.
All right, and
Yes.
wait a second. And I know the fifth, sixth, and seventh, they all died in Rebels. No, the fifth.
No, the Fifth Brother and the Grand Inquisitor. Second
Yeah.
sister dies.
Yeah. This is not giving me an accurate description of the thing. Hang on. But yeah, so while I'm looking this up, because I do want to get it right, the main thing that me and Chuck were talking about that really threw us all off was the death of the Grand Inquisitor. Because he's supposed to be in Rebels, which is another 10 years later. So
yeah, and he's
what?
also kind of a badass. He's not show patience, hold back, do this, do that. He's not that type of person. He kind of tried to throw in our face and said that you were this and we were that, you were the less of us. But the Grand Inquisitor would have just killed her on the spot for disobeying. It wouldn't have been a whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I was just waiting for his lightsaber to come out and just off with her head.
Right.
Also, you know what else really bothers me about her sister? I figured it out today after watching it. You guys really. Shadow knows this about me, so I'm just going to say it, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this too. I hate Anakin Skywalker in the movies. Hate him. only started finding love for him when I watched the Clone Wars animated series, where you see him come up as a Jedi, you see him be a badass, you see him become himself, and you see his interactions with with Obi-Wan, and you see his interactions with Ahsoka. But in the movies, I hated him. When you really look at how she's acting, she has Anakin Skywalker, holier than thou vibes about her, and it bothers me.
I can see that. Yeah, I know your feelings towards Anakin, movie wise.
I mean, I cosplay Anakin, so obviously
That's those feelings. Yeah,
bratty, entitled vibes that he had.
That's why I'm glad we got products like the Clone Wars, but both of them, the original cartoon Clone Wars and the 3D Clone Wars. I'm glad we got those projects because it allowed him to be fleshed out, and then I feel like seeing that makes me enjoy Anakin a little bit better. Like if you do that full blown rewatch and you watch episode 2 and go through everything Clone Wars leading up right to episode 3, especially with like the add-on for episode 7, like watching all that kind of like intertwined back to back, it makes you appreciate Anakin so much more better. And then of course seeing how everything that he's been through led to what the choice he made. It wasn't just, oh, I want to save Padme, let me do this thing and murder all my friends that I spent 3 years fighting side by side. No, it was a lot.
There was a lot of things that led him to becoming Darth Vader.
Yeah, and so
there was a lot of more sides of his personality that weren't shown in the movies, that were shown in the Clone Wars, which is why I hated him in the movies and loved him in Clone Wars.
But yeah, I have a feeling, and I really hope I'm right about this. I have a feeling that the Grand Inquisitor is not dead. I have that feeling because Rebels has been out for a while now. Y'all have to know where your characters are if you're putting them in live action. I also hope that the what is she, third sister now? Yeah, the third sister. I appreciate the actress. You know, she's doing great for what they're giving her, but I hope we get to see the reason why she's going after Obi-Wan like she is. I think once I see that, I will have a bit more understanding of her. I mean, right now, you know, I definitely agree. She definitely has those early like bratty Anakin vibes, but until we see what she goes through, you know,
I feel like there's more to it. Like as they put it in part 1 and 2, it's just that she wants to impress Darth Vader. She wants to like grant this, I guess, street credit for bringing in Obi-Wan to Darth Vader because she apparently is the only Inquisitor that's ever seeked the Inquisitors out to become one and didn't just get taken as a child and forced into.
Okay, see that makes a lot of sense, and I think that's going to play into what's going to happen because that's interesting. I didn't pick that up. That's interesting because, you know, I do like most of the other ones were taken from, you know, child, or, you know, the Grand Inquisitor himself became, you know, was a fallen Jedi and then turned to the dark. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see her story. Because I mean, and that's what and that's the best,
because she keeps saying it's from it's, you know, like I feel like there's more to it than what they've let on so far, but like for the most part right now, all we know is she wants the credit for bringing Obi-Wan to Darth Vader, so Darth Vader will respect her more.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
Well, we also seem to have sidestepped something here that is kind of huge. She knows that Vader is Anakin.
Yes. Yes, she does.
I really wanted the Grand Inquisitor to be the one that tells Obi-Wan that Anakin is still alive because they have a history. He doesn't have a history with the third sister. He doesn't know why she's doing it. He doesn't know anything about her. I wanted the Grand Inquisitor, even fifth brother from the Clone series, to be the one to deliver the news to him and break his heart. Like that would have been way more to me, fan wise, that would have been way more of a heartbreak moment. It would have been like a more emotional moment if it had been somebody he had history with and not somebody he had no idea who they are.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. We'll get back to that scene, that heartbreak scene later, because it was definitely something to talk about. Real quick before we move on, let's talk about the third sister's plan, because it's her plan that basically kicks off the entire thing. She knew that attacking the child of Anakin Skywalker would draw Obi-Wan out. So, like Chuck said,
his father fought side by side with Clone Wars.
Yeah,
so
like it.
She either Darth Vader has confided in her, or she's put two and two together, right?
Yeah, I mean, she has to have some knowledge, some knowledge of what happened. Either that, or she just said, "Hey, this kid's father and Obi-Wan, they fought side by side, and I'll use that to my advantage to flush him out." Whether she has the insider knowledge or not, that plan was actually foolproof. It worked, and
yes,
of course, like seeing Obi-Wan
didn't work. He didn't.
He didn't want to, but in the end, like they said, the Jedi hunt themselves.
True.
And
but he tried to resist it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, and we can definitely talk more about the plan, or just in general, because once we get into Obi-Wan, I don't think there's anything else outside. See, Inquisitors we talked about. The look of the show itself was great. We talked about Leia. Okay, well then let's go ahead and hop into the man himself, Evan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Seeing the back of that head, that mullet, and then he turns around and that beard, I'm like, hello there. We missed you.
Oh yeah.
It was so and then like seeing him working, and I love that they repeated that shot like several times just to show like, hey, like this is what Obi-Wan was doing, before stuff got real a couple years down the line. Like he's just sitting there every day, slicing meat, take some with me, put it up, clock out, get my camel thing, go home, do it all over again. And of course, it's always somebody busting up in this grill like, hey, so I kind of need your help, Obi-Wan. Can you help a brother out? That always leads him into the mess again. So what do you guys think about just seeing him back on screen for the first time?
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Right.
Super excited. It's great to see him back in the role. I mean, he fits it so well. A lot of what I saw, it kind of shows how heartbreaking his life has become since we've last seen him.
Yeah.
And you see him just in the little scene where the overseer or the boss was like, yeah, I paid you half. So what? Keep it up and I'll take all of it. And you can see him fighting his natural instincts to help, to want to protect somebody who's downtrodden. But then just like the look on his face, it's like a look of defeat. He's like, this is what my life has become. Monday through Friday, cutting up desert snake. I think it's a crate dragon they're cutting up. I'm not sure.
No, apparently it's a very ancient fish, because we learned in Boba Fett that Tatooine used to be a water planet,
right?
And so that is an old whale or a space whale, something like that. That's dead, but the meat is still like fresh, so they like take from it. I did like a bit of research, but I didn't remember the name of it. But yeah, so like that's a thing that's just been there, and they just working.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see that piece of little like lore too. So,
But you see his life. It's mundane. It's
yeah,
sad, and
It's heartbreaking.
it is. You can see that visible heartbreak
yeah,
in his actions and the way he's moving.
yeah.
Like his new purpose has nothing to do with what he ever was before, or who
Mhm.
he ever was, or anything about his personality. It's like his whole entire personality is completely different because he has this new purpose to keep this person hidden and to
Mhm.
watch over him, and it's not even wanted. Like
Right.
Owen
Oh
makes
man.
it
Yeah.
pretty evident he does not want Obi-Wan in Luke's life at all.
Like you trained his
He's still
brother.
there.
I mean, like you trained his father. Like really, Owen? Really? You just gonna roast my boy right now? And then the toy. Oh my god! Like, so he buys a toy off the Jawa,
Hmm.
and like you see it, and he leaves it at the house, and you're like, oh, this is how he gets that toy. He gets that sense of adventure that he gets in episode 4. And then you just see him get off of work one day, goes back to his camel animal, and then Owen just tosses it like, bro, it's a toy. Why can you let Luke have the toy? Come on, man. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I hate it. I hated how much Owen hated that. Like,
yeah,
I get the whole like you trained his father thing, which was definitely heartbreaking, but like at the same time, like he's given up his Jedi ways and he's just trying to look after the child. Why
mm-hmm.
would you be such a dick about it? Like let him be an uncle to the child as Ben. He doesn't like Luke doesn't know he's Obi-Wan. He doesn't know he was a Jedi. Let him like be in his life and take care of him. That's obviously what he's dedicated his last 10 years to doing, is just making sure that Luke was okay. So why would he be such a dick about it?
That would be a very interesting what if. Like we get to the end of this series, right? And we see wherever they are at the end of this season 1. Or actually, I want it to be just a series. I don't think we should get a season 2, but that's a topic for like the end of this episode. But we get to episode 6. Whatever's happened. A what if idea? What if the stuff that happens in this series? He's like, Owen, shut up. I need to train him, and they start like what? We're 10 years in, right? We got 10 more. So he
Hmm.
starts training. He starts training Luke 10 years early, in secret. What if that would be an amazing story that I might have to play with,
I
because
want to go
it
back to where you were talking about, like going back to like seeing Obi-Wan be Obi-Wan, but not be Obi-Wan.
yeah
When he was standing there with his hood on, twisting his mustache and playing with his beard, I was like, that is Obi-Wan Kenobi right there. Like the whole like mustache twitch and like the face touch. It was like he never fell out of touch with that part of the character.
yeah
It was perfect. It was
it
like
really
the
was
touch you needed to know that he was still who he was.
yeah. 'Cause he's just, I don't think they could have gotten anybody else to portray Obi-Wan through the years. I honestly couldn't see anybody else doing it.
No, and I mean, I'm actually really glad. I know that a lot of people are fans of Hayden. I'm really glad that they're giving Hayden a chance to be Darth Vader again and to
Yes.
be Anakin again, because like he needs to prove that he's like a better actor and
Yes.
character than what
Yes.
he's had chances to prove. So I'm really glad they went back to him to do that.
My hope for that is what we get here will lead to, because honestly, like I was saying, I don't think we should get a sequel to Obi-Wan. I think the Obi-Wan series should be a 6-episode series that leads into a 6-episode series on the light that leads into a 6-episode series on the dark, and we see Darth Vader's journey. Take an arc from the comics, whatever, but do it in live action. and see what he's been doing, what he's had done leading into where we know he is. Because when we first see Vader in Rebels, you know, Rebels, Rogue One, leading into Episode 4, he's been doing a lot. So kind of seeing those early years, that stuff we see in the comics, I think some of that would be a great thing to bring into live action. And now we're getting a look into Obi-Wan. I'm very interested to see what happens in this series that gets Obi-Wan to that place of peace of mind, to where we see him in Rebels and the last meeting with him and Maul. Like not even just oh, it's him in Episode 4. Like that's a given. We know how he got there. I want to know how he got from the feeling he's feeling now to I'm sitting out in the desert. I sent you, Maul. Let's do this. And he's like that piece of. I want to see that. That's what I want to see.
I didn't actually kill my apprentice and my brother is still alive, to
Yeah.
being insecure about being who he is, to being like a total fucking badass again.
Yeah, that's what I want to see from this series, and I feel like we're definitely going to get that that look. So yeah, like I said, Obi-Wan, one series, the light side, give us a dark side, because definitely give Hayden more work, yes, but also give a chance for him to showcase both him as Vader and flashbacks of him as Anakin, because he's watched all of Clone Wars. In preparation for his role in this 6-episode miniseries, he went and watched all of Rebels and Clone Wars. And so I like that, because it shows him the story that Anakin's been through. And like I said earlier, I'm hoping that it gave him that sense of, oh, so this is what led into what I did and when I acted and when I made that choice. So I really, really hope that we get to see a series of the choices he makes after he made that choice, based on what we already know and what Hayden actually has seen Anakin go through. That's what I really hope that we get from that. But
I'm curious to know how our other guest feels about Anakin, because I've obviously laid all my feels out on the table.
Yes, you did. Yeah, Chuck.
Man, Anakin as a character is amazing, and it's really unfortunate that Hayden Christensen got such a hard time from the fans when the prequels came out. Even the gentleman that played Jar Jar Binks.
The name escapes me right now.
Ahmad Best.
Yes, yeah. I think. Yeah,
I was drawing a blank there. They did what they could do with the writing at the time, and they did an excellent job. I don't like Jar Jar Binks as a character. I think it's a bad character.
He really is.
But the actor did a great job with the character regardless. So they don't deserve what they got. And that's really unfortunate that Hayden Christensen got so much hate for that. And it's hard for them as actors, because they're set into a role. We knew Anakin was going to become Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what they wanted to do. It was going to happen. So they have to work around that. And then getting to watch Anakin progress through the Clone Wars series, I got to tell you, so I grew up with the original trilogy. The prequels came out when I was already out of high school and in the military. And my oldest son, he's like, oh yeah, I love the show. Clone Wars. And I was like, oh cool, it's a kid show, whatever. I didn't watch Clone Wars until a few years ago. And I was like, oh man, I'm an idiot. I was wrong. This is fantastic. What have I been doing with my life?
Yeah.
And getting to watch not only Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship, but Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship, his relationship with Rex, his relationship with, all of his troopers, even with Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
You get to see some of that relationship and how everything is gone. He's just such a fantastic character, even though, yes, he is going to become the bad guy one day. Yes, he is going to be redeemed by his son after doing terrible things, but it's hard not to love Anakin.
Yeah, I feel like, it's so rushed in the movies that you don't get a feel for why he went from one side to the other.
Yeah.
like you have to actually watch Clone Wars to understand like him in general. I feel like and him and his turning, like in the movies, I feel like it's rushed. It's like, okay, I'm a Jedi.
Oh,
Okay, my mom
well,
died. Okay, now I'm a Sith Lord. And that's
I'll
kind of how it works. And
I'll
it's not
defend
really how it worked.
a little
It
bit
took
of
a lot
that.
more than
Yeah, I'll defend a little bit of that, and I'll say in this because we of course didn't know we were ever going to get the Clone Wars either series. It was always just going to be episode 2 right into episode 3. So I think what George was going for was we because we saw how Anakin was in episode 2 and the choices he made there, um, and the way he was raised, because it everyone forgets it goes back to the way he was raised. If you remember, Obi-Wan never wanted Anakin as his apprentice. He did it as a favor to Qui-Gon Jinn. So that 10 years in between had a lot of growth on his impact. Of course, he was worried about his mother. He wanted to free the slaves. Like it was a lot that went into it. So I think before we ever got Clone Wars, George was going for look at what he did in episode 2. And yes, you see him as a grander Jedi now. He's been through a lot through this war. And from the moment he kills Dooku, you see the wall slowly start to break. And I think that's what George was going for. Was it seemed a bit rushed, yeah, but I feel like if we had not gotten anything else, you could see that was his breaking point right there. Hey, he took your hand. You wanted revenge, and that was the beginning of that slow chipping away that Palpatine was doing until the very end, and then here's where I am. So I'll defend that slightly, but I do understand, and I'm glad that we got Clone Wars to flesh it out. So that's my slight defense of Episode 3.
I'm just going to say that I would still hate Anakin Skywalker as a character in general if it wasn't for Clone Wars. So,
and I definitely agree. I definitely feel that. Going back to Obi-Wan himself, though, in this, seeing him so cut off from the Force, because we've seen Jedi in media right now that's been cut off from the Force. You got Trilla? No. What's the Seer in Fallen Order? She was cut off, and you see that progression in that game as she slowly gets back to the Force. I'm glad that it wasn't until episode 2 that we saw him, even though he struggled, he still regained that connection, and he had to do it in order to save Leia's life. And I mean, at that point, it goes back to the whole heartbreaking thing of this man really stopped everything he believed in because of his failure, cut himself off, and
because he thought he killed his brother.
Yeah, and was destined, and he was destined to sit there on this desert planet for years and years. So I'm really glad that we're getting to see that, he'll slowly rebuild his connection to the Force. He'll slowly get back to it. His adventurous side, because let's be real, Obi-Wan was the go-to guy in the prequels and the Clone Wars. Clone Wars was everyone else getting involved, but like before then, I'm pretty sure the Jedi Order literally only sent Obi-Wan for almost every mission. It was like, hey, bounty hunters are attacking the Queen. Hey, Obi-Wan, handle that for me. like it was just Obi-Wan was just adventure hopping. So getting him back into that where he's traveling to different planets and he's just looking around like, hey, so I'm looking for this ship, the signal. Hey, so this planet we don't do signals. Good luck with that. And just seeing him having to progress on his own, and that scene with hang on, let me pull his name up. Haja, where he's a fake Jedi. That was hilarious. You could tell from the moment because the Force sounded different when he pulled the thing. That scene was hilarious. I knew he was going to punk him. What did you guys think about that one?
I literally had friends texting me and they're like, seriously, this person's a Jedi? And then like a few minutes later texted me and be like, oh, okay, no, he's exactly who he needed to be.
It was a really good, fun way to introduce his character. And I really thought their assistant was going to be like, okay, thanks for the information, slice. But I'm glad they left him alive, because that leaves the way for him to pull a kind of save maneuver at some point in the series, something like that. I'm sure we haven't seen the last of Naja.
I think he's coming back. What do you think?
Yeah. Chuck?
Yeah, no, it was a great scene. It was kind of, you get this feel for this guy, like, oh man, what a scumbag. But then later on, he's like, yeah, am I a scumbag? Yeah. Do I like money? Yeah. But did I save those people? Yeah. So you kind of see a little bit of an arc with this guy. He's not just an underworld character that's trying to cheat people out of their money. He's actually trying to do some good in probably the dumbest way he could.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and
con artist with a heart.
Yeah, let me go ahead and impersonate a Jedi when they're actively being hunted down and killed.
Right?
And then tries to stand up. I was proud of him. He did try to stand up against third sister. He tried to buy time. He tried to do his best.
Yeah. So he is a neat character. He's an interesting character. And the interaction, I loved Obi-Wan's response. Is like, oh, wow, that must be tough on you. Whoa. Like, he was just mocking the dude right back.
He's so sassy. And that's what we love about Obi-Wan. He's
Obi-Wan is definitely a sarcastic Jedi, for sure. A sarcastic character.
He's very
confident. Master. Yes. It was kind of sad not to see that confidence. Like when they first asked him to save Leia, it was kind of heartbreaking to see that he wasn't that person anymore. He was just like, I'm not that person. I can't help you. Like, I'm.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad because everybody relates Obi-Wan to that character, that sassy, like sarcastic badass, and then all of a sudden you see him broken and not that person anymore, and you see him trying to find his way back to it. So it's definitely a different take than you've ever seen on Obi-Wan Kenobi ever.
Yeah.
Well, what we've seen of Obi-Wan, we've seen the young Obi-Wan before he's really had too much trauma, and then he gets a ton of trauma, starting with Qui-Gon Jinn getting murked right in front of him. And then we get to see Obi-Wan deal with the carnage and horror of an intergalactic war, culminating in not only the primal battle between him and Anakin or Vader, but legitimately his entire family, in a sense, the Jedi Order, is wiped out in a few days, just obliterated. He's got, where we're seeing him right now is 10 years later, and it's 10 years of untreated trauma. He is dealing with PTSD, and it's been really nice that they've started to show this in some characters. I know Star Wars and Star Trek usually don't get along, but one of the first episodes from Star Trek that actually kind of hit home with me and helped me realize that I'm dealing with years of issues from being in Iraq and Afghanistan, when Chief Miles O'Brien put the phaser to his head and he was going to kill himself after that prison sentence on DS9. And, so you get this glimpse now in Obi-Wan of, the Jedi aren't immune to these types of things affecting them. And you can see, he's got the nightmares. He's got that 1,000-yard stare. He's processing. Anakin's still alive. Vader's still alive. I didn't kill him. What's going on? Like, you can see Leia trying to communicate with him, and he's just like, he's out in left field. He's like, I don't know what just happened.
That scene was like, I know they showed that shot in the trailer, but seeing the context behind it and the voice being echoed out, like he's tuned everything out. Like he heard that. And that was it. And then you switch to showing Anakin in the Bacta tank as he's like Anakin.
I feel like it made him more human.
Yeah.
Everybody
it kinda-
sees him as
Yeah.
an incredible badass Jedi. They don't see
Well,
him as a human.
what really got me, and I'm a little sad that more didn't happen with it, but the clone trooper.
No, yeah.
Oh God, that was so heartbreaking.
Yeah,
that was the worst part for me. That broke my heart so much with that clone trooper.
But did you see his armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Rex.
Well, maybe I
maybe
definitely paused in slow mode and looked at the helmet, looking for the fox ears on it.
Yeah.
But he is a 501st trooper.
Yeah.
And I'm a little upset or sad that the trooper didn't recognize him as General Kenobi, because he was the 501st was always running around with Kenobi and Anakin.
And Skywalker, yeah.
Or maybe
so
he
I'm
did.
wondering.
Maybe he did, and he just, you know what I mean? There's always that like the look he had on his face kind of looked like he kind of knew who he was talking to.
Yeah.
But didn't want to say anything. Like didn't want to get, you know what I mean? He just kind of had that love-hate look in his eye.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if it's any other 501st trooper, he's still under the programming.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was Rex and he recognized him, he wouldn't attack immediately. But if it was any other 501st trooper and they had recognized him, they would have attacked immediately.
Yeah.
Because good troopers follow orders.
And we don't know, outside of like some reading material, exactly where Rex was before
Rebels.
Yeah, before Rebels. So, I mean, if they confirm it, it'll be cool. If not, then it'll just be a very heartbreaking scene. But I mean, Obi-Wan, like you said, dealing with the trauma, you missed one of the biggest parts of the trauma. What he went through the war was the return of Maul and the death of Satine. That he's dealing with that too. Like that's it reminds me a little bit of what Thor's been dealing with in the MCU. Just back to back to back trauma. Just so much death and destruction going on in your life. People that you've known for years are just dropping left and right. And so I feel like we're getting a redemption arc and a getting healthier arc for Thor in Love and Thunder. We're finally going to see Obi-Wan process and go through and deal with all the trauma. I really hope during this series they mention Satine, because I mean that was one of my favorite things about Clone Wars is like, oh, Obi-Wan was trying to clap some cheeks. Okay.
Well, he may even have a child.
but man, that would be. I can see a lot of fans having a problem with that. Me personally, I would love that.
I would love it too.
Obi-Wan having a Mandalorian child.
The child would be about 20 years old right now.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be really cool. Okay.
We met the son of the Duchess, but there was no mention of the father.
You are correct.
It's true.
That got me thinking. But I really did like. No, it's fine. No, I like what you said, and also thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so like going back to this is him dealing with PTSD, everything he's dealt with, and I'm really interested to see where we go forward from. Actually, there's an Obi-Wan trailer on my TV right now. So it's hilarious. Oh, cameo, Jimmy Schmitz. Hey guys, give me one quick second. Are you okay? Okay.
Put some lights on, dog.
Sorry, I was gonna get up and do that. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. We're back in 3, 2, 1. I'll cut that out. Yeah, Jimmy Smits. It's great seeing him. This is definitely a better cameo than Rogue One, because Rogue One, he's like, hey, I'm gonna go home and like get some stuff squared away, and I'm gonna send my best person to come help y'all. I'm gonna just go home real quick though, and then we know what was going to happen shortly after. So that was kind of sad to see that. But here he's got a while before that happens. So I'm interested to see how much he's actually in the series, and it's just always a pleasure seeing him reconnect with the characters that we know he was around during the Clone Wars and stuff like that. So Alderaan, though, let's talk more about Alderaan. I really enjoyed the aesthetic of that. What do you guys really think about that?
Man, so have you ever played the online game?
I have not.
SWTOR?
The only other thing I've seen from that was that a cinematic trailer from back in the day where they fought on I think it was Alderaan. Yeah.
So if you since you haven't played SWTOR, there's a long series, a campaign on the planet Alderaan, and it's portrayed as a glistening jewel of the galaxy.
Nice.
You've got very green greens. You've got pure placid lakes. You've got the snow-capped mountain peaks. It's portrayed as a wonderful planet. Like, man, I want to take my next vacation there.
Right. Okay.
But I think what they did with the cinematic view, because all they had really to play off of was the original prequels view of it, and then everything else comes from video games. So we really haven't seen or explored the planet in the past. I mean, we've seen the heck out of Tatooine.
Yes. Oh God.
It's like for an outer rim planet, it's oddly important to the entire galaxy.
It really is.
But you got this take, and it's a gorgeous planet. It's beautiful. It's clean. It's pristine. You can see that the population, they love the ruling family. They love the Organas. So I think they did a really good job of finally giving a good on-screen representation of Alderaan, and I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of it. I want to see them explore that planet a little bit more.
That's absolutely. The shot where they were going over the forest looking for Leia, I saw that and I was immediately taken back to that cinematic trailer, because I feel like that was almost a shot-for-shot recreation or something close, where in that cinematic trailer where they were fighting on Alderaan, it showed the city and the forest, and then that quick change for everything being on fire. Like seeing that, and then seeing this shot in this show, I was like, oh, I've seen that before. That looks familiar. Like I like that parallel they did. But I'm really interested to see more of Alderaan. Giving agency to a planet that we know gets destroyed in like 10 years time, it's definitely something I didn't know I wanted, but I'm glad I got.
Well, and a neat thing is, if you think about it, Cara Dune, who's also an Alderaanian, she technically could be running around on the planet causing shenanigans right now as a young child.
I kind of hope she shows up a little bit as a child.
I think that would be really neat.
Fun. Yeah, that would be fun.
Just kind of a fun little Easter egg there.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So we talked about Obi-Wan's heartbreak and everything and what we want to see. We've gone over the cast a little bit. So apparently, Ice Cube and his son are going to be in the series. That's going to be fun to see. But other than that, what are some of the things you guys want to see? I've pretty much already gone over what I want to see. But what are some things that you guys want to see in the next 4 episodes? We'll start with you, Tyler. I'm sorry, do a little bit louder for me.
I said, have you guys heard who they hired for Ahsoka for this series?
The actress for Sabine?
Mm-mm.
Who?
Daisy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be the Ahsoka for the series.
In Obi-Wan?
In Obi-Wan, yes. She is the Ahsoka for Obi-Wan.
Trying to have her appear a little bit younger.
Yeah, I mean, she has to be. I mean, the Mandalorian, she's in her 40s.
Yeah.
So they had to hire an actress that could be a little bit younger, so they hired the lady that plays Quake. I can't remember her real name, but she plays Daisy or Quake in Agents of
Chloe.
Shield, and I'm totally, as an Ahsoka Tano fan, totally okay with that.
I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Chloe. I want to say her name is Chloe. Hang on. Not Daisy, really. No, Daisy from Agents of Shield.
Yeah, I can't remember her real name.
It's gonna drive me insane. Played by Chloe Bennett. Okay, yeah, I was close. So yeah, Chloe Bennett. That's gonna be really fun. And honestly, it's a better role for her than what they were going to do with the Powerpuff Girls on CW. So I'll take her being in this as Ahsoka than in being Powerpuff Girls any day of the week. That's really cool, and I'm glad we're getting more Ahsoka too. I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
Well, we were talking about things that we want to see. I definitely want to see Rex. I want to see, get it confirmed. This is Rex. I want to see. I would love to see live action Darth Maul in there. I don't know how that's going to fit. I don't know if that's a possibility. But it'd be kind of neat.
It would be.
There was one other thing that I really wanted to have. It'll pop back up into the brain here randomly, but
wait, we're 10 years in, right?
We're 10 years in.
Solo should have either happened or just happened around the time this started, right?
Yes, give or take a year or two. It's pretty close because Han Solo's like 10 years older than Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So the Maul that we see at the end of that movie, that would be the Maul we'd be getting. He's still part of like the Red Legion and all that stuff. It would be interesting to see him and to show up in the series, but I feel like just knowing that he shows up much later in Obi-Wan's life. I feel like that would be the better thing. But like I said, if he appears, I'm all here for it. We need. And I want it to be Ray Park again. Definitely give him more work as well.
Watching his stunt acts have you ever watched any of his stunt routines where he's like filming as him? It's incredible.
It really is. To have him come back and do the stunts for the CGI for the season 7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was so cool. Oh, it was so cool. And honestly, it gave more agency to that fight. Like it gave more. It made that fight all the more enjoyable and realistic looking in that series. There was someone else I wanted to appear.
I do really
say it again for me.
I said I definitely want to see it.
Still can't hear you.
I said I definitely want to see a live action Rex.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's what it was. Flashback. If now you said they got Chloe to play Ahsoka, I wouldn't want Ahsoka to appear in the main day. If we're getting Ahsoka, we want to see Rex. I would love to see maybe an episode long, almost flashback with Hayden as Anakin, doing as like Clone Wars era Obi-Wan, and we got Ahsoka and Rex. That would be the highlight. I mean, the highlight would be their eventual meeting and fight. Cool, yeah. But another highlight would be that having that live action and seeing the Clone Wars in live action for at least once, for at least just one scene, just one flashback. That would be the most amazing thing that I would want to see out of this series going forward. So.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I definitely would be excited to watch that, and that flashback series where you get the gang together again one more time, doing what they do best across the galaxy, which is just causing mayhem apparently. I think that would be a fantastic episode. And of course we've heard the voice of the Emperor.
Mhm.
Through because Lucasfilm did it again. They got us with another Execute Order 66 scene. I really wish
Yes.
they would stop killing me with that because
Yes, please.
I'm like, nope, not gonna cry this time. Not gonna
Stop
happen.
killing Jedi. We've
Stop
already seen it happen. Please stop.
You did it to me in The Mandalorian. You did it to me in the book. Quit doing it.
Well, see,
but you keep getting to see, the different perspectives of as things happened. So it's nice to get to see that.
it really is.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Emperor pop up here and there. He was just here in Nashville a few weeks ago, and I guess on one of the panels, he had kind of dropped hints that you might actually see him on screen in this.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was pretty tight. And Lucasfilm, they have been ridiculously good at keeping things locked down over the last few years and not letting spoilers get out. Like, as we also saw with Grogu or Baby Yoda, whatever they just lock that down. So who knows what they've got in store for us.
I'm excited. This new era, I mean, I'm gonna call it the fourth generation, where we've gotten 3 generations of movies, but now we're in the 4th generation where we're in long form storytelling, like series. I am enjoying all of it. Live action, additional add-ons to animations, Bad Batch, Clone Wars season 7.
Oh yeah,
Rebel. This generation of Star Wars, I feel like it's the best out of everything we've gotten. Because not only does it give us new and original stories, it also adds to stuff we've seen. This is what this series is. It's adding on to a story, a character we already know. We know point A, point B, point C, and now we've already seen that from point A to B. Now we're getting that from B to like B plus to C, and then so you're getting that in between, and I'm really enjoying that. That's why I said I'm hyped for if they do a spinoff that focuses on Darth Vader for 6 episodes, because there'll be another point of seeing from point A, B, in between to C.
Another point of view.
Yeah, right. Would I want a Palpatine series? No, I don't think.
He has one agenda.
I mean, we already know he's got one agenda, but what we never see, and unless you've read the books, you never see any of his training, any of his experience, any of his knowledge. It's just suddenly here's this guy. Oh, I'm a senator. Oh, I'm the chancellor. Oh, hey, now I'm the emperor. What's up, guys? Nice to meet you. But you don't get to.
He's a pretty strong fighter, and he's pretty strong in the Force, and you never actually see why that is either. So
we don't get to see a lot of his manipulation.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna pause you guys right here for one quick second, okay? All right.
You feeling any better?
Me? A little bit. My eyes are almost swollen shut right now.
Yeah.
I'm still
Did you
really
get that
itchy.
Benadryl or?
If I take Benadryl, I'll be asleep for days. So I'm trying to wait until this is over, and then I might actually take some Zyrtec or something like that. But
that's why I record my podcast.
I can breathe. My throat's not swollen shut. I just have a swollen face. I'm trying to hold my phone as far away from my face as I possibly can, so you can't see it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So we just said about Palpatine. While we got a break, I'm gonna set up something real quick. They released trailers for Andor and the Fallen Order sequel. So to end the podcast, I want to get our final thoughts on Obi-Wan just in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go and just look over and react to those 2 trailers, and then we'll wrap up. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to get those set up because I have to share the screen and do all this stuff. I'm still
My
getting
face
used
is very itchy right now.
to. How are you feeling?
My eyes are starting to switch a bit, and my face is super itchy, but I can breathe, so that's
Once we get done, pop some more drugs and feel better. Let's see, Andor trailer. Okay. I haven't even watched it myself, so I haven't
I
seen
haven't
it.
either.
Yeah, so
Although I
generally-
did see a screen cap of Bad Batch season 2 and what they look like. Stoked
Yeah.
about that.
I haven't finished season 1 yet, so I'm gonna withhold watching that for right now.
Fair.
Oh, Chuck, guess what I finished today?
What's that?
My 501st Darth Ray costume.
Love it.
It is 100% from what I was sent. It may change, but right now it's 100%. I'm just waiting for
Nice.
them to actually post the CRL so I can post it.
Right on. I still got to get my wife's photos submitted for approval for hers.
It's not a very attractive costume.
You don't think so?
Huh?
You don't think so?
It looks like an Amish person with a hood on.
Oh my god.
I mean, I like it, so you're not going to
It's
get any
like a
complaints from me.
floor-length dress with long sleeves and a hood and a cape.
Girl, you seen some of mine? I'm wearing a 40-pound black velvet blanket. Come on now.
That's hilarious. All
I
right,
just
so let's
gotta
wrap.
get something approved so I can start showing up at events that I'm not allowed to be at anymore, apparently.
Ooh,
Fair.
shots fired. Let's go ahead and wrap the Obi-Wan talk, and then we'll do the trailers, and then we'll get you guys out of here.
Right on.
While we're still on break, thank you guys for being on the episode. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Gonna definitely try to have this out before the end of June. God help me. I want to have at least out by next week because
That's like tomorrow.
my schedule is I have to edit some stuff and throw some stuff up, but
Shadow's also the person that filmed in Adam's fighting Scarlet Witch.
speak louder.
I said Shadow is also the person that filmed the fight scene between me and Adam as Kylo and Ren. It's amazing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I do a lot. I'm always tired. Like Monday and Tuesday are my only days off, and I have to try to get so much done. And I have the podcast from last time to edit too, so I'm trying to get those out like it's like a one episode two like thing. But again, thank you guys, and like I said, anytime you guys want to be on, we'll do a full blown like Star Wars like just in general episode, and then we'll do more for like when Andor comes out, when Survivor comes out, when more content comes out. If you ever want to be a part of it, Chuck, you're more than welcome to come back.
Well, what might be neat is not only myself but my son, a multi-generational perspective on Star Wars because he loves it just as much as I do, and I swear this kid knocks out more things than I've ever heard of. I'm like, say what?
Okay, well that would be amazing. That would be.
He'll tell you how to turn your lightsaber crystal red. You know. He's read up a lot of the comics. I've read more of the books, but he and I are both right there with the video games and watching the episodes. So might be a neat perspective.
I talked to Timothy Zahn. I have him on the list for like with big guests. Yeah. I would love to have him on eventually. Like that would be a fun episode.
Yeah, I've met Mr. Zahn a couple times. Fantastic. I actually got to introduce my son to him at the last ICCC in Nashville. So
he was great. He it's always a pleasure to see him.
Oh yeah, he's always fantastic.
All right, so and we're back in 3, 2, 1. So, guys, we're at the end of this episode. We got a couple of things else we're going to do, but we're just going to go over our final thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan. I'm going to start with Mr. Chuck. Go ahead and give us your final thoughts, my friend.
So yeah, we've gone through so much. What I really love is I get to see a character that I've grown up watching. I get to see that character continue to grow and to see the changes as they're occurring from where we were to where we are now and how we're going to get there. We've got the original Alec Guinness. We get to see how Obi-Wan becomes Obi-Wan and goes on that one last fight, just like they said in the episode, one more fight. And I'm so happy.
Yeah. And Lady Tano.
I love seeing him humanized because you grew up seeing him as a Jedi, as this. My dog is losing his mind. I apologize if you guys heard that noise, but you grew up seeing him as just a Jedi. You never actually see him with emotions. Like he contains them, he holds them back. So you never see the wreckage of being a human that he feels for everything that happens in his life until the series, really. So you actually kind of see him in a different perspective, and you see him in a new light, and you're going to see him become who you're used to seeing again, but you're going to see him go through doubts and despair and hurt and anger, and then turn it all around to become who he was meant to be again.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. That is what I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed about the first episodes. We got a new planet too. I'll probably go over that later, like my solo video on it, just to go over like the new stuff we get. There's so many Easter eggs too. We barely even talked about that, but there's so many Easter eggs in the first episode alone. I am excited, like Crystal said, to go forward, and that was my biggest thing about the series was now I get to see from you're the chosen one to yes, there's a new hope. I get to see that in between of what happened to cause him to get to that point. Because honestly,
you get to see him go from despair to hope.
Yeah, like yes, first time ever seeing Obi-Wan in episode 4 will always be iconic. But now my single most favorite iconic scene from Obi-Wan of all time will probably remain that fight on Tatooine with Maul. It's quick, it's fast, but it shows a growth that up until now we never knew what happened, and that's what I am most excited to see. What got him to that point of calm and serenity, just a little bit before he did this final battle with Vader. That's what I'm interested to see. I'm very, and of course, all the other characters, all the other new characters we get looked into as well. I know a lot of people are going to have issues with the new Inquisitor. I'm excited to see how they play her story out and how it ties into both Anakin and Obi-Wan. Overall, if I had to rate the first 2 episodes, I'll honestly give me a 9 out of 10. Just for the spectacle of being back with Obi-Wan for the first time in how many years? Yeah, almost 2 decades. Yeah. Yeah.
So I have had a few people that I've mentioned this to, and a lot of people have noticed it, and a lot of people haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think Kylo Ren's name came from? Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, I mean, that.
And a lot of people haven't put that together, and I was like, oh, that's where Kylo Ren got his name Ben Solo from, is Ben Kenobi. But a lot of people didn't put that together, and when I've said it, they're like, oh, that totally makes sense now.
Yeah, I bet they had probably either never seen the prequels or known about the history of the books and the actual children of the characters. Yeah, but that's a conversation
for another
time.
For a whole another episode. And on that note, we're going to switch really quick before we end this episode. We're going to hop into watch and react to 2 trailers. This past weekend was Disney Star Wars Celebration. I've been seeing a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, a lot of amazing things to come out of it. A lot of cosplay, a lot of fun things. I saw a picture of Anakin, Ahsoka, Anakin, Rex, and Obi-Wan together, and it was the Ahsoka's voice actress. Her name escapes me. Ashley Ashley, Hayden.
She's a sweetheart.
She really is. Ashley, Hayden, God, what is Tamora and Ewan. Just seeing them together is like, that feeling of those four together. And everyone was like, well, where's Rosario? I'm like, look, love Rosario, but she is the fourth generation Ahsoka. If anybody else was in that picture, it should have been Ashley, and I'm glad it was. Honestly, I mean, it should have been the voice actors altogether, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It still serves its purpose. But right now, I'm gonna switch over, take a very quick break because I don't know how to do it like manually. So, share screen. Stop sharing that. Share screen.
You can see how swollen my eyes are right now.
We'll start with the Andor trailer. I didn't say play, dang it.
You doing okay with me?
Okay. View tab here. Can I play from here? I cannot. That's weird. StreamYard is weird, people. These are some really fun bloopers. All right. Let me put my computer up because that would be sad to be in the tail end of the podcast and the computer just dies. And we never get to see all the amazing stuff we talked about. All right. Starting the Andor trailer in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied. They're everywhere. They're watching me now. Soon enough, these days will end. There will be no rules going forward. People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
Okay.
So we got Mon Mothma coming back.
Yeah.
I'm in it.
And then we don't have to wait that long. It's like what, 2 months?
Yeah.
Interesting. So
I see more characters I have to cosplay now.
Man, what?
Here we go as cosplayers.
Very interesting to see that we're gonna get. Like I thought it was just gonna be that. Oh well, how does he get to where he is in the rebellion? But we're gonna see a lot more of the rebellion actually being formed too.
That's what it looks like.
Which, and I like what they did with Starkiller, but of course that's not canon. So I'm hoping we kind of get elements, but get different ways of that in this. It looks very interesting. I'm hyped.
Oh yeah. And I like that throwback in there, the old clone trooper landing ships.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, okay, I recognize those. That's cool. But of course, they're not carrying clone troopers. They're carrying stormtroopers. And I like seeing the early blend where we're early enough at the in the Clone Wars, the early part of the Empire, where a lot of stuff bled into like the changes that we saw in the original series. You know,
Yeah.
I
Definitely,
really like
the
that.
moving from the Galactic Republic into the Empire and the overlap space in between.
Yeah, that was really cool. I'm hyped for that. So now we will unshare that, and then we will share the. God, it's so unprofessional. Thank God I'm recording this. I have to cut that out. Right.
Tell me, Cal Kestis, why lead when they won't follow? Why fight when you can't win? What is your next move, Jedi?
Interesting. That's a lot to unpack.
Did you recognize who was in the Bacta tank?
I did not. Huh. I'm at to frame by frame that one and do some research. That's first of all,
who that is.
yeah. First of all, hype that we're even getting a sequel. I'm really excited. That was one of my favorite Star Wars games. I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out because I really like the story of what we got. I hope Cal lives because I like the fact that there's a Jedi out there somewhere. Let's see. Fallen Order takes place how many years before New Hope?
I'd have to pull up the timeline.
Yeah.
I think it's like maybe 15 years before New Hope.
Yeah. Because it's still fairly like right after.
Yeah. Because when we first meet him, he's in the stripping yards, cutting apart galactic ships.
Yeah.
Galactic
So
Republic ships.
It's 5 years after Episode 3.
Yeah. So.
And the EA has confirmed that Survivor takes place 5 years after that. So that's like right in the middle after Obi-Wan, but before Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Who could that be?
More questions.
Those long flowing hair.
Yeah. It was white too. Like it didn't look like Mirren. Maybe it could have been. See, this is what happens. I'm glad I have somebody to react to it with because there's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to think about.
A lot of speculation.
Here.
Not only this game I'm excited for, but I'm also excited for the Ubisoft game that's going to be coming out in a couple of years. Oh, you didn't hear? So Ubisoft got selected to make an open world Star Wars game, kind of along the lines of the Fallout or GTA series.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So you get that experience with Star Wars. I think it's coming in like 2024. They're in production and development, or they're in development now.
Yo, that is going to be amazing.
I think it was announced like maybe 6 months ago or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look into that, but that's you know what, actually now that you mentioned that time frame, I do remember hearing something about that. But there's lots happened in 6 months.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm hyped. Like I said earlier, this new generation, this new era of Star Wars, that right at the tail end of the sequels, and we're getting everything on TV. This generation has been nothing but amazing, and I'm really interested to see how it continues to unfold. Whether it's in gaming, other media, TV, books, comic books, we're getting so much Star Wars now, so much different ways. I'm excited to see what happens next, and I think Survivor is going to be another one of those top tier.
Oh yeah.
But with that being said, because I mean, honestly, that whole next gen look, like I know it said like, oh, this is not like gameplay, but y'all could have fooled me with Fallen Order. So, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm, and then also like the character that I guess Sith or whatever he was talking that was talking. I originally thought it might have been the Grand Inquisitor, but he didn't have the markings, and he looked like a member of the banking clan from that one planet that Obi-Wan visited where he fought Grievous.
From
Utapau, yeah, there you go. Interest. Okay, lots to unpack here, but we're not going to spend any more time on it here on this episode. If you've watched this far, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. We're still getting used to getting everything in order. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good things. Hope you guys enjoy Obi-Wan. Tell us what you guys think about Obi-Wan. Thanks again to Chuck for being our guest for this episode. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh man, no, you're more than welcome to come back. Crystal, Lady Tano, my co-producer, my co-host. We finally got us on the episode together, and the plan for this series, like I said in the last episode, it's not only feature the geeky, but we're also going to have the adult entertainment sides and focus on some sex workers and stuff like that. So we'll do more of the balance work soon, and we look forward to hope you guys enjoying what we bring, the stories from both nerddom and the 18 community, bringing those together because honestly they overlap a lot more than you guys would think. And with that, I'm Shadow King. Thanks for watching this Freaks and Geeks episode brought to you by Shadow Creators Entertainment. May the power protect you. May the force be with you. And have the best day possible. Bye. And stopping recording now. Yay, and